You ever wondered how a woodworker gets those fancy edges on his custom pieces? Well, RouterBitMall.com has sent me a 15-piece starter set of their router bits, and today I'm going to show you how we get those fancy edges and if these bits are any good, if they're bad, if they're downright ugly. An honest opinion from me. So stick around and let's find out what RouterBitMall.com has sent me. All right, guys, let's dive right into this box. It's a nice box. I actually used my laser to engrave their logo on the top of it, just to give them a shout out, man. You know how I am. But I wanted to give them a shout out, and that's RouterBitMall.com as a thank you for sending me these bits. But we're going to pop this little puppy open and find out what's on the inside of it. All right, right there you see a 15-piece router bit set, carbide steel. And so far they look pretty daggone good. I hope they hold up when we do a test here in just a little bit on a couple of them and see how they do. I'll probably use a round over and maybe a chamfer bit, but it's going to be how to use them. And what I want to do is start right here in the top left corner. Oh, by the way, they come in 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch shanks, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we're going to start right here, top left corner. And that is a 1/4 inch shank bit. You can use it for grooves, dados, rabbets, mortises, whatever you want to do. It's a pretty versatile little bit and very handy in a woodworker's tool bag, if you know what I mean. But what I want to do next is, like I said, I'm going from left to right. So we want to jump into bit number 2 right here, and that is a 45-degree chamfer bit. And that's kind of self-explanatory. It kind of puts a 45-degree angle instead of a round over on the edge of your project or whatever you're edging. But it's a pretty good bit. And the next one, bit number 3, is a 15-degree bevel trim bit. And it puts a slight angle on it, not as much as a 45-degree angle as the bit beside it, but it's still a good little bit. And it's a template bit. You can use it for, cutting out patterns or whatever you want to do, but it's got the bushing on top to help you stay off the material, and it'll actually be on the bottom of it. But let's see, bit number, let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit number 4 right here is going to be a 1/4 inch cove bit, and that's going to inset your edge. Instead of rounding it over, it's going to round it into your material, which puts a nice little feature on the side of something if you've got a thick enough piece of material to make sure it works good. But that's a cool little bit. I like those bits, and I don't use them a lot, but when I do, they're pretty good. So we're going to jump over to number 5, I'm sorry. Number 5 is a 1/2 inch cove bit, and it does the same thing as number 4, just a little deeper inset. So number 6 is a 14-degree dovetail bit, and honestly, that's pretty self-explanatory what that bit's going to do for you. But that's a 14-degree dovetail bit, and you can use it for a lot of other things, but mainly dovetails. So let's see our next bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bit number 7 is a 1/4 inch round over, and I like my 1/4 inch round overs. I use a lot of them, and like I said, they all have bearings on the top that help you when you're using certain material. It'll keep you off the other material, and those bearings spin independently of each other. But bit number 8 right there on the very end, far right of the top, is a Roman OG bit. And it does a round plus a concave feature on the edge of your material. Pretty cool look. If you don't know what that is, I would say look it up, because you'd probably like that, but it's kind of difficult to use sometimes. So just going back and showing you right here, that's this one right here, number 8 on your top right. So we're going to move down to the bottom left So that'll be number 1 on the bottom left. And that is going to be a 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch template trim bit. And you can use that. Your bearing is going to be at the top, I guess you would say, of your router bit because it's closest to your router, and that will keep you off everything. And number 2 is a 1/2 inch straight bit, and it's going to remove a lot of material. So that's a very hefty little bit right there. And number 3 right here is a 1/2 inch round over bit. Now it's bigger and it's going to give you a more rounded edge on the side of your project piece or whatever you're working on, a table or whatever it might be, an end table, a coffee table, a kitchen table, a countertop. It can be anything. So bit number 4 is a 1.5 inch flush trim bit. Now that joker is going to take out some material, and you can do a little bit thicker material using that and using the bearing to guide you to keep it straight and not damage any template. And that's a pretty good idea to have those when you're doing your trim. All right, bit number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there is a 1/4 inch slot bit, and there you go. It's a slot bit, so pretty much self-explanatory. What it's going to do is going to cut you in a slot. And let's see, bit number 6 is a 3 inch straight bit. And these look like they're double fluted too. Yep, that one's a double flute right there. So that's a 3/8 inch straight bit. And self-explanatory like bit number 1 on the top. And then we're going to get into, see, just like I said, same thing as that one right there. It's going to do pretty much the same thing. So now let's jump on down to the very last bit, number 7 on the far right. And all right, let's jump on down here now that we're just about to wrap this thing up and get on down to bit number 7 right here, the far right. And that's a 1/2 inch slot bit. It's a little bit bigger than the 1/4 inch slot, which was number 5, but it's a good bit and it's going to give you a larger slot. So right here I'm showing you the shanks. Remember, these bits come from RouterBitMall.com in either 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch shanks, and a 1/4 inch shank is going to pretty much fit any handheld router and a lot of corded routers or larger routers, but 1/4 inch shanks in a handheld bit is pretty common and pretty standard. You won't go wrong, but that's the box. Again, a shout out to RouterBitMall.com for such a great job. Try to do a radio voice right there. RouterBitMall.com. All right, let's get on into using these things. All right, before we go into the next step, I want to show you how to change the bits before we put these RouterBitMall.com bits in and use them and find out just what they're all about. But on my Craftsman handheld router, I just pop this little clip off and slide the base off. Now, once I do that, I get to the bit. Next thing I'm going to do, and should have done it first, is take the battery out just so you don't hit the power button by accident. But now we've got that. There's a little button right here that you want to press down and turn your spindle until it locks. And then we're going to just turn the nut until you can slide it right out. That's how you take it out. Now, we're going to use the small roundover bit right here. And we're going to use that, and I'm going to show you. When you put it in, but don't force it all the way down. You want it just a little bit up from the bottom of the router. And then we're going to just turn this with our hand till it's hand tight, and then you're going to tighten it just a little bit more, not much, all the way in, and then we're going to put our base back on. Turn around so I can see it. All right, now on my router you have a micro adjustment, and we're going to come up just a little bit to the top. And you're gonna lock it in, put your battery back in, and roll. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna use a piece of walnut because I'm gonna test these bits out on something hard. So we're gonna use a piece of walnut and just see how well it does. You got that right there. That's a good smooth edge on that. A nice little round over. You see how it's rounded, not so much chamfered or chamfered. So we're going to put a chamfer bit on this next. And like I said, that was pretty impressive with this hardwood right here. And I'll notice, and if you can see it real good, the blades still look pretty good on it. So let's get on to the next bit. Man, so far I'm impressed with RouterBitMall.com. These bits are really good, steel bits, titanium bits, and they have so much more to choose from on their website. All you got to do is go to their name, RouterBitMall.com. And just so I can show you the difference between a chamfered edge and a round over edge, my Lee likes the round over. I like the chamfer. You can use it on a tabletop also, and you can just hit the edges with it real slightly with a sander and knock it down some. But the chamfered edge has got a more sharp cut, if you can see that, like a 45-degree angle. And the round over on this side is a smoother, come on, Michael, a rounded edge. So look, if you like the information I'm giving you on this channel, how about giving me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button? The channel's growing, and I want to thank each and every one of you for that. So that's a good thing for me and a good thing for y'all, because I get to share things with you that I wouldn't be sharing if I didn't get those thumbs up. So with that said, I'm going to be doing another video with some of the other bits when I set it up on my router table and show you how those bits can be also used in that format. So again, as always, remember guys, this is important here. Jesus loves you.